to you by an association with Viacom Entertainment. In this session, we'll be discussing about the opportunities and issues in distribution of Indian cinema abroad. We're the world's largest producer of films, yet we distribute less than 10% of our produce abroad theatrically. The maximum countries these movies releases are not more than 3 or 4, when there's a market for our films in about 40 territories. Are we self-satisfied so much that we're not interested in taking a pie of the international revenue? Or is it because we're ignorant about the avenues available internationally? In this session, we'll know the roots and basics of how we can take a film on a global platform, and we'll also touch through the various available distribution platforms for our films. The moderator for this session is Mr. Shyam Kurup, Director, Indiawood Film Market, and on the panel we have with us Mr. L. Suresh, President, South Indian Exporters Association, Ms. Mahi Gulshan, Far Films UAE, Mr. Prajesh Kumar, Managing Director, PJ Entertainment UK, Ms. Jovita Toh, CEO, Encore Hong Kong, Thomas Shia, Founder, Lighthouse Pictures Singapore, Kishore Reddy, General Manager, Cube Buyer. Let's have a huge round of applause for him.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for your patience. It is discussing something very important because we make 2000 movies, but I'm not sure how many of them are distributed outside. We're very happy by distributing, like we have so many regions. If you say a Tamil movie has a market in Tamil, full market, maybe they also come to Kerala and some of them go to Telugu. A Bollywood movie sells all over India. It also goes abroad. But are we so satisfied that, or are we making so much money that we are not thinking about the various territories which are outside? I believe there are 40 territories defined by IFTA, LA. So, but we are just exploiting some of them. Maybe USA, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia. There are umpteen territories. So is it the ignorance or is it because we are happy? So that is what we are going to discuss here. But due to my hectic schedule, I never had a chance to have a discussion with my team members and panelists. That is good, because then my questions would be honest. If we had a discussion, it would have been a... so I'm sure so the questions will be straight. So I would give the mic to my panelists. Each of you, if you can have a short introduction about yourself so that they understand what you do and what you are. I'll start with Thomas Chia.
Hi, my name is Thomas Chia. I run Lighthouse Pictures in Singapore. I acquire independent specialty foreign language films, which includes films from India. So far, I've released 2 and 3 Indian content. The first one was a special gala screening of Damn 999 in Singapore. Secondly, acquired an Indian film called The Lunchbox from the Match Factory, German company. And the third film, which is going to open in March next year, is a film starring Barun Sopti. It's a debut feature film from a filmmaker based in Mumbai. The film is called You Are My Sunday. Yeah, and that will be released. That was independently sold also by a German sales company. So it looks like Indian cinema needs sales companies from overseas to spread their wings.
Hello everyone, my name is Mahi Gulshan Tipala. I'm from company distribution based in Dubai called Fars Film. My father, Ahmad Gulshan, started it almost 50 years ago. We distribute Hollywood, Bollywood, American independent, South Indian, talking Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, other films that come through like Kannada also.
15 movies a week, no?
About 10 to 12 on average, new. But not all from us. There are other distributors there. There are representatives of different studios, like Warner Brothers Studios. There are particular representatives in Disney, 20th Century Fox, Sony Pictures. These are from the Hollywood side. The Bollywood, we have a group, our Indian group, our partners. Together we distribute to the UAE and GCC, basically the Gulf region, for Bollywood, and South Indian as well, coming through our company. So on average, 10 to 12 films. There are Arabic films as well that we're distributing, predominantly Egyptian films.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prajesh Kumar. I'm based in the UK and I distribute Malayalam content for the regions of Europe, and by time to time we do outside Europe, sometimes in the Far East and the American region as well. I have been in the film distribution business now for just over 18 to 19 years now. We started very small. We've now raised the market for Malayalam cinema in Europe. When we started out, we used to play in like 3 theatres. Now our last release, which opened last Friday, started in 119 cinemas across UK and Ireland. So hopefully we can raise that again in the years to come.
So L. Suresh, he's also the producer of the movie Billa. He's the president of South Indian Film Exporters Association.
Good afternoon, everyone. In fact, I represent most of the southern film distributors who are exporters. I'm the president of the association. In fact, we concentrate mostly in Tamil and Malayalam films. The distributors most of them are with us as members. And I have several problems and solutions to the same as to how we could enlarge the Indian films abroad. In my opinion, most of the in fact I've been going to all the festivals like Cannes Festival or Berlin Festival for the past 15-20 years, and I'm an avid movie goer, and I see at least 3 to 3.5 movies a day. When we go to Cannes Festival, I see 30 films or 32 films. But I'm glad to note and sorry to note that most of at least 30 to 40% of the Indian products are much better in quality. Be it Kannada or Malayalam or Telugu or even Assami or Bengali film. They are much better in quality. Unfortunately, we are not able to make a big inroad into the films. I would like to come a little later into that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jovita. I work at a company called Encore In-Flight, based out of Hong Kong. We have a network of 102 airline clients. We recently got into Indian content, and we realized the quality of Indian content is far superior to a lot of other Asian languages. And it's our mission to educate airlines that it's not just Bollywood content that makes the bane of Indian content, and we'd like to take it out to the world.
Hi, I'm Kishore Reddy. I represent a company called Cube Cinema, and we are one of the largest content creators and content distributors in the world today.
Thanks for introductions. We'll start from the top. In-flight. How many of you know in-flight rights? That there are in-flight rights? 2. So you know the issue. Now you can tell us what is in-flight rights.
In-flight rights are the rights the airline have to pay to screen the movie on their flights. So that is what in-flight rights are.
So you mean a producer can sell directly to the airline?
Yes, technically.
Then why are you here?
Let me explain. Technically, anybody can sell directly to an airline, but because it's airline files and delivery deadlines and technical specifications is so complicated that airlines generally don't trust just taking content from anybody unless it's from someone that's experienced, like our companies. So we represent producers, and we work with different airline companies to get on as many airlines as we can with one title. So it makes it a lot easier to work through us who's aggregating across 102 airlines than for producers to approach 102 airlines on their own.
See, one of the least sold rights, I believe, is the in-flight. Am I right? We have theatrical, home video, satellites, all the movies get. Mukesh sir, I think in flights it's tough, right? Selling in flight. So what is the solution? Like easiest way that all the producers can sell the movies to online? Is there space for all the movies?
Actually, traditionally Bollywood content has done really well, on all airlines. And most airlines in Asia, say Cathay Pacific or Singapore, they take 2 or 3 Bollywood titles compared to 1 or 2 Japanese titles or Korean titles. So it actually has a huge popularity in Asia, in Middle East, and growing in the United States and Europe as well. So I think in terms of capacity, the systems that airlines have now is huge. So there is unlimited space on an aircraft to put all your content. Now the question is education. How well do these airlines know about Indian content, which at the moment is very little. All they know is Bollywood. They don't realize that, there's so much better content all over, the regional content, your independent content, content that's winning awards at major festivals, like Court, for example, that did really well for us on airlines. It's gone to Australia, Middle East, US, Singapore Airlines took it, so it's done really well.
So you sold Court to Australia, Middle East, so 4 or 5 countries. Not many blockbuster movies get this opportunity in flight.
Yes. So, yeah, and I think it's a good test one for us because it covered a few languages. It was in Marathi, it was in Hindi, and Gujarati and English in one movie. So we thought it was a good way to kind of introduce and tell people it's not completely Hindi. No, is it completely Gujarati or so they were a little bit more open. And having put it on, they realized that people do watch it. And it's more than just native Indians that watch it. Foreigners that want to experience new content. So now airlines are beginning to understand that they are not just selling or screening Indian content just for Indians. The world wants to watch Indian content.
Language, was it dubbed or for all the states or original?
It was the original theatrical version with English subtitles.
So are they asking for more Indian films?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
With all our distributors, we have some positives and negatives to discuss. But there's one distributor whom I only have positive things to say. Kishore Reddy Cube, they're the first company to release, digitally distribute Indian movie in US much before that was I believe Guru, right? Guru, Real Image formed by Senthil Jain. So they do such a lot of hard work.
Most of our movies are getting a lot of opportunities abroad. Kishore, if you can.
While all my friends here have been talking about the possibilities of and issues in distributing overseas content, we are actually the back-end force behind it, and we help distribute these contents to several countries. We master these films on our platform, and the content gets distributed across several countries. And I've seen this market grown from, say it was distributed about for a couple of countries about 3 years back. Now we are talking about at least 30-40 countries in each of these. Particularly if you say Telugu, which I am very familiar with, and I've seen Telugu movies being distributed to just about US, and that too those bulky physical prints. It had to go through all the customs logistics issues, and all of that pain they get to release in about 5-6 screens. That was not worth the efforts put in. With the advent of digital cinema, that the screening really, the span of the release has grew a lot, and over the last few years, we've seen these release span increase from 30-40 screens to, let's say, Kabali has done close to about 400 screens in the US alone. That purely happened because of the kind of services that Cube Cinema has been doing over a long period. And today we believe we have a better solution for distributing and license management and rights management. Thereby we see a lot of opportunity for my friends here to distribute in a larger territorial areas and also manage their content in a better way.
We had the super hit movie Kabali. How many prints you could release it worldwide?
We did about 3,500 screens, and that's about 18,000 licenses given. Just to give you a humongous number. In the last 1 year, we probably would have managed direct distribution for about 10,000 screens and over a lakh of KTMs being issued in just about last 1 year. That's a huge number when you say Indian movies being distributed outside. All that is what we try and do, and we have better solution now which is called CubeWire, where we are going to give these distributors themselves can now manage their content distribution and manage their keys. So you don't have to really depend on a laborious and a tedious process of sending the drives, physical hard drives over to all these screens in US or the Middle East. Now Faz would have been doing, Prajesh has been doing it for a long time now. So they still had to wait for the physical drives to be delivered to the screens physically, and then they wait for the KDMs and some producer approvals, and then the keys have to be sent to the theaters. With CubeWire, which is the new product that we have just launched, which is on what the Kabali has been released on, Prajesh or Faz can directly decide on what screens they want to send the DCP to, and also they can generate the KDMs on their own, so they don't have to really depend on a manual of people sitting down there in some other country and coordinate the whole exercise. They can do on their own, at their own schedules, and they can manage rights, they can sub-distribute. So quite a lot of
Hold on.
is there.
You're aware of CubeWire, right? Honestly, will you be satisfied? Are you satisfied with CubeWire? Have you experienced it? Honest answer.
CubeWire will actually start, we're going to start testing it next week. Kishore.
Welcome.
I have no doubts that the product will not work. It will surely work.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, they are all representatives from international territory. If you ask me, there's only one person responsible for answering our problems. Sorry for being harsh. He is president of South Indian Film Exporters Association. We don't have film index. Nandakumar Belaji is not here at the moment. So all my questions are directed to you. You are South Indian Film Chamber of Film Export Association. You distribute Tamil, Telugu outside. Sorry, Malayalam also.
Yeah.
Why not Kannada? Rajendra Singh Babu is here.
No, in fact, that's the reason I was telling, not only Kannada, I'm talking of many of our Indian films. In fact, some of the Indian films, I'm amazed at the quality of the films. For example, I saw latest Kannada film, Aditi. Literally, myself and my wife had shed tears on that with joy and with sympathy for the film and for the characters. It is such a beautiful film. Not only that, I am talking so many films. Unfortunately, we are not able to market it as we should have done it, or we could do it. We are unable to do it. We have not been doing it. It is not the distributor's responsibility alone. As a businessman, I just would like to explain the business, because we have been in this industry almost for the past 70 years. In the olden days, we used to export the Tamil films by way of prints, only to 3 or 4 countries, especially in Southeast Asia and Middle East. Then we should have exported at least one week earlier due to the censors and other problems. Of course, now due to the digital content, digitalization, we are able to explore, as I said, 2,000 copies or 2,000 prints for the latest Rajinikanth film, which captures of 25 to 30% of the total revenue of the film, which is not being deprived by a Malayalam film or by a Kannada film or by for that matter, in Telugu film. Because Telugu is concentrated only in US, whereas the rest of the world, it could be done. Main answer to my problem, probably I should, through this source, we would like to appeal to the Government of India. Whenever we have the festivals like Cannes Festival or Berlin festivals, the government appoints some of the IAS officials or some of the directorate of people to go there.
It's a ritual being done by them, not promoting our films. I'd like to charge sheet them. I'm very frank with you. See, because when we see the rest of the other world, they are promoting with the zeal of their product. If it's a good product, be it in any language, for example, in Singapore, they produce in English, Tamil, Malaysian, Chinese. But they look at it Chinese as a Singaporean product and they do it with zeal. If the product is good, then they concentrate on 10 films and try to market it. Unfortunately, with Indians, they go there, make themselves present, go to 2 or 3 meetings, then they do not talk anything of the films. We have a huge pavilion, Indian pavilion. The government of India spends several crores on that, but none of them promotes any film. They come there for just to enjoy the time and also to see what the Cannes Film Festival is. That's all.
True.
But whereas, if you are given, for example, the same is given to a film lover and also a businessman, then he will concentrate upon the business to be done, what's to be done. And also a film lover, if they employ that kind of a person or a promoter of the film, then he could promote it much better than us. And we have a lot of opportunities to do especially the regional films.
True. He's explained, but still not satisfied because Kabal will still on its own. We have 40 territories. We are only able to sell 4 or 5 countries. Akash, our brand ambassador and superstar from Oriya is there. He will also want to know whether they can sell Oriya movies. I'd like to ask Nilkanti Patekar. Ma'am, she is the head of Marathi Chamber. Since Film Impact is not there, her question will be to you. Are you satisfied, ma'am, with the Film Exporters Association, Bombay?
Thank you, Shyam. Actually, I am in this particular area for last 10 to 12 years. But there is, as he rightly said, even NFDC is not helping anybody. One particular person goes to Cannes or Berlinale and he never takes any other movies rather than NFDC movies. And there are so many movies which are having potential to be sold in the international market. We have placed this sale in the Federation of Marathi Films since last 6 months. And I'm worried actually only the popular films are being sold outside and the regional independent films which are very well made with different concepts are not at all sold anywhere and they do not know how to go about it. So I am here for that, and when you rightly said you attend this particular workshop, that it is very much needed for all the associations, all the federations, so that they can let producers know what is the modus operandi to go abroad and sell their films. The entire Indian market is so saturated that independent films are not getting theatrical released and the entire money is blocked in that. The producers are not ready to produce again because the finances are blocked. So unless all these territories are open for these independent filmmakers, they will not see the light of the day, though the content is very good. Thank you very much.
How many Marathi movies have been sold outside?
Hardly any. Like he said, the court is being sold. And now Sairat. Sairat is creating the waves, but because the Z Entertainment is there, they are fully supported. But out of 120 movies which are produced every year, if only 1 or 2 are being sold, what will happen to the rest of 110 plus movies? True. They cannot be released even in the theaters properly. Not 5 rupees tickets are sold. So where this money will come, only the international market is the only solution, I feel.
True, like if you know.
I just would like to support regarding Marathi film. I'm very honest. Yeah. Because we have seen several films during the selection for the Oscar, etc., from Film Federation of India. Some of the Marathi films are amazing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not being properly marketed.
Yes.
I totally agree with you.
Yes.
In fact, I wouldn't say that even if you produce 100 films, in my opinion, it should market at least 20 out of it or 30 out of it.
Yes.
It is capable of it. You have not you, your films have the capability. Yeah. We are unable to do it because lack of support.
Yes.
I'm not blaming the government alone for the simple reason. The reason is, in the rest of the world, the cinema is considered as a culture.
Yeah.
In India, the cinema is not considered as a culture. If you look at the rest of the world, the cultural ministry is responsible for the movies. Right. But here, we have a different name information broadcasting.
I know.
And that only goes into broadcasting of films
Yes.
or broadcasting of their, whatever they have done it, and not for the movies.
I have one more point to say. Wherever there are international markets in India, there is hardly any presence of the buyers, you know. And if there are a few buyers, people do not know how to approach them.
Ma'am, there are many actually. There are
Yes.
many.
No.
A small country like Korea
Yeah.
sells most of its movies outside,
Yes.
whereas we don't do it. It's
Yes.
because of ignorance.
Yes.
Only few people who go to film markets
Yeah.
are taking the advantages.
Yeah, they should know the basic film producer should know the modus operandi, and it should be online. You know, everybody is computer savvy nowadays, net savvy nowadays, but they do not know how to go about it. So our federation has opened this sale of international film marketing when other federations, I don't know whether they are coming outward. But still we are trying, and we are trying to get through this.
Yes, she is putting an effort because I've seen her coming on her own to markets like Kochi here
Yeah.
and putting up a booth.
Yeah.
I have seen so many associations, but only Marathi Mandal has taken that effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, Telugu. Mr. R.K. is a famous actor from Telugu. He's also the vice president of Telugu Producers Council.
Yeah.
You want to add some points?
It was considered a culture when the kings were ruling India. The art, they have given a big, a stage for the artists like Sri Krishna Devaraya and all. Now the governments have kept it aside to the point that he said some time back. Our associations are just fighting for having land for a building or for the federation workers and trying to make money out of it or things like that. They're not doing anything to exploit the movie in India as well as abroad. Not one meeting, the meeting that you conducted now, not even thought of it had happened in the association meetings, neither in the chamber or the council, or I'm very sorry to say that one of our Telugu guys is the South India head of the film chamber, and they have not even thought about it. Every time a producer makes a film, small or big, he always have to run to pillar to post to release the film, first of all, and selling is a different aspect altogether. To sell the product, if we have a platform, the international, we don't even know, I'm seeing for the first time that the gentleman, we don't even know that there's somebody like that is there. We don't even know how to approach, where to go. When I made a film, independent film called Hyderabad Nawabs, I had to run from pillar to post. Kishore is a witness. How I tried to, I must have spent over 7 to 8 lakh rupees running from Bombay to different places. How I didn't know how to do, what to do. I wrote the subject, I did a film. They said there are no known artists, no known actor, not a known banner, not a known language, not a known culture. And we didn't have audience. We created one audience to millions of audience today, courtesy YouTube. But we couldn't release it theatrically in different places across the world because it has a world appeal, but we didn't know what to do. I waited from then to now to make a sequel to that film. We call it Dakkani Wood. There may have been about 35 to 40 films that happened in the last 9 years. But we are waiting for a platform like this to exploit the movie because we have huge number of audience in UAE, huge number of them because they love the Dakkani culture. It's like Hindi.
She's releasing Bahubali 2, first Telugu movie.
Yeah, you can stream in YouTube, ma'am. Hyderabad Nawabs, the Angres, the beautiful culture. Most of the Pakistanis, Indians, all the Hindi speaking, Salman to Shah Rukh to all the big stars, they have loved our movies. But we didn't know how to take it across to the audience.
But RK sir, you're a famous actor, you're a producer. You can't just blame the chamber because chamber is producer. You're also a vice president of Producers Association. What did you do?
Every time I should know it first, no? before.
That must be also their problem too.
Yeah, but so I'm thanking you for this. I'm thanking Indiewood and Suhan Roy and Sham. So very soon we should have, forget about the past. Very soon, let everybody know that there is market out there. There are people to do it. That it's possible, and we can always look at these people and we can release or exploit our movie across the world. Yeah.
I have suggested our government to say that rather than giving the producer the subsidy, put the money on the marketing side of it, where the money comes back to the producer. But till now, since last 5-6 years, I'm following up this. But none of the governments is giving the money to market the film outside or even inside. You know, they do not have money for publicity marketing, and the total project is lost over that. So I think this point has to be taken up.
Yes, we will have a collective discussion on that after the end. Mukesh Mehta, a leading producer, distributes to.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Mukesh Mehta. I make Malayalam films.
So sorry that we are just interacting.
Yeah.
This is natural.
Okay. I mean, as Suresh sir said, that there's a huge market outside. We should not expect any help from the government. It never happens. I mean, if you are expecting help from the government to promote your product, I think you're living in some other world. Because here, even after the film being selected for Panorama, there's a rule that, you know, the National Doordarshan should show the film, and the producer is supposed to get 25 lakhs of rupees. I don't know how many of them managed to put their film on Doordarshan, which is already something which the government has approved of. Now, coming back to, you know, the market, the world market is definitely big. I hope somebody like Mr. Sohan Roy, you know, forms a company over here who can identify films, say, if to start with, at least say 25 films. And, you know, and decides that, okay, we are going to market these 25 films to the rest of the world, and I'll be too happy to give my films even on a profit sharing basis. I do not want any money upfront. I do not want any money upfront. Mr. Suresh, if you are prepared to market my films, I have beautiful films, and you see those films, and if you like those films, you market them. I am not saying just because I'm saying it's a good film, you do it. No. I am requesting somebody like Mr. Sohan Roy to pick up 25 films of his choice and, you know, market it. So at least let us make a beginning with 25 films next year. That's my request. And the same request goes to Suresh sir also. Since you are so avid as far as, and you are also doing Malayalam films, I make Malayalam films. I am prepared to show you exclusively my film. And if you feel there is a potential, please do market it for me. I'll give you a free hand.
We made 4 times more money outside than in India. So it's
That is
true.
very true. That is very true.
My question now is to Mahi Gulshan, daughter of Mr. Ahmad Gulshan. There's nobody in the audience who doesn't know Mr. Gulshan. We call him Gulshan. He's so close to India. He's so very close to India. He helps us a lot. But that is not the question. People say you can't enter Middle East unless you pass fast films. Why is it so? Why is not there is a second person? Are you not allowing it, or?
In fact, he wants to make the best out of a film, the best potential out of that film. It doesn't matter. We have all the distributors now. We're all working together. You've got films coming every week, 10 to 12 films coming on average, from different distributors from different countries. You've got Hollywood, Bollywood, Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, Bollywood. I'll give you an example. Telugu films were not released in the Gulf at that time. It predominantly was Tamil and Malayalam. That was the main films from those places. We helped to test it. We said we can't just get a film. Anyone with a film can't just come in. It doesn't matter. We're not the ones who call the shots. It's happened. It's been proven over 50 years, almost 50 years of experiencing films coming in and out of the Gulf. This is Mr. Gulshan. One example. There are a handful. There are people there who also experience with his partners, whether his colleagues, whether his other types of other people in the industry. It has to go strategically be released in the Gulf. It's a different market. It's not like India. It's not like India where you have, like, honestly, every corner there's a cinema. There are a limited number of cinemas. There are multiplexes. There are, but they're still limited. With all the number, it's not just Indian films. It's all the other types of films: American Independent, Hollywood, Arabic. You've got now Tagalog from Philippines. It has to go through a test if it has not been released before and if it has not been established before. So we tested it. We released a Telugu film on a Friday. Our weekend is Thursday, Friday. Friday, now Saturday as well. Thursday half day, and then Friday is the actual weekend. Friday is like a Sunday outside. Friday morning before the 10 o'clock show. The first show in the cinemas is 10:30. The Telugu was released before, so it was an early morning release. One by one, bit by bit, one show on a Friday. It was released, we got house full. It was full. People were coming, they had to be returned because there was only one show because it had to go through a test to see whether people would actually come and pay for a ticket to come to the cinema. You know, everyone talks about, oh, we're definitely, like from Sri Lanka, there were films being approached for films from Sri Lanka to be released. And people were saying, oh, yeah, we will definitely come and we're going to pay, you know, we want to watch them. You have to bring them. Even there was a Kannada. Nobody would come. Everyone wants to go see a Malayalam, a Tamil, wants to see Bollywood, wants to see Hollywood, wants to see even Arabic subtitled in English, because there are a lot of good stories. So this Telugu picked up very well, because the big community there in the Gulf. So bit by bit, today you find Telugu films are part of the program, part of the weekly program of the entire Gulf region. This is how now Telugu has now established itself in the Gulf. So you've got Telugu, you've got Malayalam, Tamil, the three main types of films.
Actually, I wanted to give you a shocker, that's why. To us, to all of us, he's like a god. Because he took pain 30 years back, Prajesh? More than that. 1960s, he came down here. We know the story. Articles have been written about Mr. Gulshan sir. He came and waited in front of our directors to take our movies to Gulf. And now we go to him. Shah Rukh Khan goes to him. Mammootty goes to him. Please release a movie. And he does his bit. I have been to his office. You go to his office, you'll find a table. You'll find all the newspaper cutting. He plans. He takes this movie. He gives life to the movie more than the producer of the movie. He takes the name, he edits it. So passionate, so involved in each movie. I am very sure he will know what timings the movies are playing in each theater. That much involved. Hats off to him. If he was not there, there would be some distributor who will distribute something. But since he is there, he's taking pains to distribute in maximum possible ways. I personally had the experience. I'm sure many of the producers who have done it through him have the experience. Hats off to you. Hats off to Gulf Films.
It's experience. It's almost 50 years of experience of what movie will work, what movie will not work. You have a film, you want to bring it. You can't just go and put it in. He's helping make the best of that film. He changes posters. Posters are sent from...
Can you give an example of the change of the posters? A few Hindi movies or... There's a movie...
Jacob Inte, last one, was shot in
there's a movie called Jacob in the Swargarajyam. It was tough to pronounce it for the Arabics. So he made it Jacob's Kingdom, right?
Jacob's Kingdom, why? Because he wants to also attract the international audiences, non-Indian. So Jacob's Kingdom is like the kingdom of heaven. They would think that. It reminds them of that English movie, Hollywood film. So he changes the titles. What was that one with the Paolo
Kuchasa Polo?
It's a long title, right?
There's a release that's coming up, which released for Onam in Kerala called Kuchavo Paolo, Ayyappa Paolo, something similar.
Based on the author,
he's converted the title to Paolo. And what it does is it creates an appeal to an international audience. And it succeeds. He succeeded with it so many times. And he continues it. It's little twitches with a film like this. It improves performance. And like Mahi said, only a person with X amount of years of experience can actually do that.
Actually, Shah Rukh Khan, Amitabh are not our brand ambassador. He is our brand ambassador. Because of him, the Arabs, the Lebanese, the Iranians are coming and watching our movie in a foreign country. But again, my question remains, why there is no second person?
In fact, I would like to add on. In fact, everyone knows that if you want to enter into Gulf country, before getting a visa, we have to get the permission of Mr. Gulshan to enter. So, in fact, my plea to Gulshan's family is, like what he has done for the Telugu film, let him try a couple of Kannada movie, let him try a couple of Marathi movie. If they are, let them see the film and then market it, because he is undeniably the best. He is a monarch There's no doubt at all. He is the autocrat, a benevolent autocrat. So let him try on this. Suppose if he start getting into the market, even for one show, as she said, with one show of the Telugu film, now it's become the regular market. Because likewise, why don't we try to develop it? That's our request here now on behalf of the rest of the regional films. Because the Hindi films always, they have it. But she should agree that some of the Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam films collect as good as a Hindi film for them.
True. That's very true. My question now is I'll give the mic to Thomas Chia. He is a special distributor because he takes efforts to distribute art house movies. Am I right? Not many take that risk. He goes to Berlin, he goes to Cannes, he doesn't take the commercial movies. He goes for art house movies. So many film festival directors are here who will find him as a prospective buyers. But the catch is that I believe he got Lunchbox. Lunchbox was released in US for millions of dollars, but he was wise enough to crack the deal much before that. I don't want to mention the money, but he got it for a good deal. How did it go, Lunchbox in Singapore?
Lunchbox almost didn't get released in Singapore.
Oh my God.
The cinema said, Thomas, the movie is on YouTube. The movie is on the internet for free. Sorry, we don't want to play the film. But fortunately for me, the copy that was shot in India had no English subtitles. When the present media found out that Lunchbox was being withdrawn, they went to badger the cinema. Why? It's such a good film. So the cinema watched it again, because I rushed down and gave them the screener. They watched it again. Okay, Thomas, it's a lovely film. Instead of playing it in 5 screens, we're only going to play it in 2 screens. Fortunately, the film made some money. Everyone was happy. So yeah, it's not easy to release Indian content.
You have been to Goa and FDC a couple of years, right?
Yes.
So it is still not a great experience.
There are times where I discover gems who are with films which are privately funded. No NFDC connection, no aid from government. And you want the film, but the producers are unable to deliver the content in the format which is required for traditional commercial cinema, which is the DCP. They tell me, can I just give you a Blu-ray or a DVD to play the film? And I say no. I need production notes, I need your spotting list, I need, very important, the sound levels, the decibels. Because the sound levels of Indian cinema and traditional cinema is different. Yeah, and the delivery of a DCP, right? And the ambulance service of a DCP, meaning if it doesn't work, is there, can you pick up the phone and call someone and say, give me a new key? Right, that is not present. My movies the movies that I buy are small, so I don't do the downloading from the clouds. I ask for a hard disk with encrypted hard disk with KDM or DKDM. So sometimes when I find a gem in Goa or in markets where the films are represented by independent producers, the pain for me is the agreement, the price, and the delivery. Filmmakers need to go out there and get their films represented by international sales companies, which is why Lunchbox went out there. The movie that I'm releasing in March, I love the film so much, I took the trouble to help the film look for a sales company so that it make my life easier to release the film. But I can't be doing that for every film, right? So another thing I would like to add is the Europeans, the Germans, the French, they have a fund where the fund gives the distributor and the cinema money to be spent on P&A, advertising and promotion, and money for the cinema as an incentive to play European content. I think if India could somehow, do the same, it will help your films reach greater distance.
I really think we have a much better solution for one of your problems that you have identified, which is the delivery part, where you ask for a DCP and then you want an assurance of a KDM that's working to be delivered to the theaters. With CubeWire, that's exactly what you can do. You can pick a theater, you can tell the software, you can select a theater and say DCP, you select a movie and say this particular movie to X number of theaters, it's delivered. And you can also, you will have the, you can control the licenses. You don't have to depend on a third party for issuing of the KDMs.
But that's between the filmmakers here and you.
Exactly.
Yes.
So those rights will be...
You are the buffer.
Exactly. No. That's exactly what we're trying to do. With
Right.
CubeWire, we want to get out of that system. We don't want this to become a manual process anymore. So with CubeWire, where the content producers like you can transfer a particular Singapore rights to Mr. Thomas, and the rights of Singapore would be with you. And all you have to do is select Singapore territory, your theaters, select the DCP that you want, and issue KDMs on your own.
That's
It's
delivery.
as simple as that.
Contracts, prices.
This is only to do with the delivery part. I'm
So
not getting into
it's
the business of the film.
Vicious cycle.
I do understand, but as far as the delivery part is concerned, you are avoiding the entire logistical pain points. You're not taking the trouble of picking up a physical hard disk from the producer. You don't have to wait for a particular KDM and then wait for it to work.
Yeah, I've seen many very good Indian films which just have to slip through my hands.
Unless he's not satisfied, we'll give you marks. He's a rare Singapore distributor.
I have one problem that people, independent filmmakers, they do not know how many buyers are abroad and how to get through them.
2,400 buyers at AFM Los Angeles.
No, that thing I know, but they don't know how to get through that particular hurdle. So every import-export association of every state should have the list of the buyers and the accessibility to
Each
that.
state doesn't have, right? Import-Export Association, only two, right? In National and South Indian.
No, even in Mumbai, you have a booth in film market.
It's empty.
Yeah, Impex. They
have a booth, but no one.
But they do not have the list of the exporters. Buyers. So I suggested you should have the names of the buyers and the accessibility to that. Otherwise, how would I know whom to send it? He can solve my problem, but how to reach the buyers?
In fact, we last year released a market directory. We gave a database of the buyers. We're trying to help our best. Actually, each state or each festival should have something like that, right? Booklets.
Yeah. I tried to contact those buyers through your booklet also. But there is no response. So I need some validity or valid point of contact. Like if he could give us that these are the buyers and you can contact them, and through them there will be...
I'll tell you, ma'am. The problem is a sales agent. India, the biggest film producer in the world, 2,000 movies, does not have a single sales agent. What a pity. A small country...
Authenticity is not there.
Hong Kong has 8 sales agents. Golden Scene, Media Asia, so many. India does not have a sales agent. If not anyone in the audience, you should answer to this. What is the reason, sir?
No, it so happens he's absolutely right. In fact, we don't have the sales agent. No, in fact, honestly speaking, even as a buyer of the films, We don't have an agent over there for us to represent. So ultimately, in fact, we have to go and get hold of only an individual buyer to buy again.
That's a,
No, this is it's a pathetic situation. I totally agree with you. In fact, if you go to Cannes Film Festival, you come out with a marketing badge. Book means it's about thick, so much of thick. Such a big book, 300 pages devoted only for who are all the buyers. But if you go to Goa market, we cannot get anything at all.
None of them are
No,
the
I'm
buyers.
not criticizing our own
I'm not
selves.
criticizing. I'm telling you the facts that if he doesn't have the list of buyers, the buyers are not there. We go there, but we don't find a single buyer there. So I just have a request that unless there is a concrete buyer list and the physical presence of the buyer, if I come as the exhibitor, I have no work to do there. So that's the whole thing.
The book that he's mentioning is available online. It's on sinando.com.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to be a member, and
Yes.
all the buyers.
Ma'am, the only solution is that instead of just one association goes to Cannes, Berlin, association important who are really seriously, like expert association who are really serious should go instead of should go at let's say 8 or people. I think 10 or 12 people go from India, but all those 10 or 12 should be persons responsible for selling the movies of their state. Then they go and meet the buyers.
Yes.
That is the solution.
Yes, because usually what I do is I contact the buyers nearly 1.5 months before for all my films so that I can get the appointments there. You know, that is the way I try it.
So we have to wind up the session, but I have one speaker left who has not introduced or told about him. Very special because he sold 180 cinemas, the latest movie, Malayalam movie. Really phenomenal because Malayalam, like Marathi, Malayalam, they're equal. Like Malayalam gets a chance in UK in so many theatrical releases. Like most films which are sold outside are DVD releases. Some get satellite. To get theatrical is very tough unless it is in Gulf because we have a market there. So it is phenomenal that we have 118 theatrical release for the latest movie. But Prajesh, when you answer this, you also should say like, is it only Malayalam? Or are you looking into Marathi or Telugu? There is a lot of Bengali audience in UK. Why don't you start that also? Like you have been successful in Malayalam, you should leave it like that and get one more. If one Marathi movie goes to UK, if one Bengali there's a lot of Bengali audience, Bangladeshi audience in UK. If one Bengali movie gets released in UAE, it will follow a chain of.
With Telugu films, it was as simple as putting it in the cinema, saying who's going to go and see it. And it worked, and it was successful, and more screens were then, it was shown in more screens and more frequently. It was a test. It's not like films come and we shut it completely, it's shut down by anyone I'm talking about, any distributor there. It's about the product. The way to get it there is to market it properly at the right way in the territory that is going to be released, and then just testing it, as simple as that. So giving it a chance, absolutely. We do the same thing we did with the Telugu films. You know, put that one show and see who's there. Find out what the community number of people who are, you know, Bengali and from.
True. Your Malayalam, Telugu is there. But
That's how Tamil and Malayalam started.
The huge Bangladeshi audience. There's a huge Bengali audience. Bengali should be your next market, definitely.
Yeah, there was a big community there, huge. True. And the fact is that this is just the way, maybe adjusting the way it's promoted. It has to be adjusted. Because you can't just bring in a film and say, okay, here, it's in the cinema, and expect people to go watch it. They're going to go for the Hollywood. They're going to go for the Arabic. They're going to go for the other movies and wait for this online to watch the other films. It's how to get them to that screen, to that film.
If I give the Prajesh, what is the easiest way a movie? You only take commercial successful movies, or there's chances?
See, art, yeah, for festivals only these types, the art films that are truly amazing movies. I mean, it's such a shame that it doesn't get released in the cinemas.
Can anyone from the audience or maybe filmmakers, how do they contact you, or how do they make the movies available in Gulf?
No,
simple way.
Yeah, I mean, there's the normal way. You send a screener with information on the film. And we see it. I mean, obviously everything is is done
censorship
properly.
Also.
Yes, and then all the process about registration, subtitling, censorship, all these things will come in place. But the main thing is to see how this product is, how the film is, because at the end of the day, it's not it's not for us. You know, it's for the film's owner. If we say, oh, absolutely, here, we'll put the film for you, and nobody shows up, he's going to suffer more. It's like there'll be more damage to his film and actually more loss. You know, there's a way to do it. There's a way to market it. And I'm sure over so many years of films coming in and out and seeing how much it makes, does it work, doesn't it work, you know? This is the advice that it is given, you know, to anyone who wants to enter the market. It's for the benefit of the film. At the end of the day, you could promote it as much as possible, market it as much as possible. If the product is not good, you know, if it's not, you know, whether it's commercial enough, we're not talking about extremely commercial, something that has a good story. There's so many movies that have not been commercial, and with such a small budget, that have been so successful. You know, people have been surprised at how, like, nobody thought that this movie will do so well, but what a gem came out, a diamond, my God, amazing. People had to come to know about it, you know, and word of mouth became successful. It just spoke for itself, you know, it spoke for itself. It's how to get the people there first, to watch it and talk about it. And the good
Word of mouth
product,
is the best.
it will be successful, no matter what you do. I mean, you don't even have to do anything, probably, at that point. And it will just be successful. It will work.
What's the formula? What did you do
I
actually?
think,
How many staff in your company?
There's 4 of us.
4 of us, 118 screens. Important.
That's 118, by the way. It sounds like 180. It's not 180.
118, yeah, sorry, 118.
Now, 118 screens doesn't just come up like that. It's taken a lot of years of development. It's also, I think the reason behind it is there's been a lot of interest now coming towards Malayalam films.
Before you continue that, this year it's 118. 2 years back, what was the maximum you released?
I think we did the same Mohanlal Priyadarshan film 2 years back.
How many
We
screens?
done 75 screens.
Okay, still, okay, 4 years
So,
back.
That was 2000.
No, is it a surge in the-
12, I think, 2012 or 2014.
Is it a surge actually or gradual?
It's going up. There's still potential of going for more screens. There's still potential. The problem we have is obviously we cannot go to a multiplex and say we would like these 10 screens. They look at the content, they look at if it's worked before, and then they will come back to us and say, no, okay, out of the 10, we'll give you 4, or we'll give you 3. So the content has to actually go into the cinema and prove itself. It has to prove that it can do the business, and then they will start accepting it. Same thing, I mean, when I first approached a multiplex to play Malayalam films, I think back in 2004, nobody was interested. Even the English film booker would not even be able to pronounce Malayalam properly. I'm glad to say he can say Malayalam very well now. It's how things have changed. But back then, they were very stubborn. It was just Bollywood. Tamil films got in there. Tamil films were performing very well, but they just did not have the belief that Malayalam would do well. And it was in the year 2008 that Malayalam actually started playing in multiplex cinemas, and the growth has come in from there onwards. Now, I think Marathi films, Bengali films have huge potential in the
Will you
market.
help her?
Surely, I would definitely be able to help you. The only problem with helping you would be, it may be, let's say you come across with a very good title. We believe in it, you believe in it, but the film booker will not believe in it. He'll look at the language first and he'll say, Marathi, no, we've never come across it before. We don't think it'll do any business, because the film booker would have 10, 12 releases already for that particular week. So he would have to drop shows, especially dropping shows of English films which are doing phenomenal business, and then put in this show. So any market, any language which comes in new will have to start very slow with small number of shows and then build up. The other side of this is, it's not just about putting shows in, it's about awareness of these films coming in, the publicity, the marketing. The marketing, you need strong support from India. I I've been doing Malayalam for so many years. I'm still not satisfied with the level of support that I gain from India, from the film producers.
What kind of support?
As soon as a film is sold, it's more or less there. There are very few production houses that would actually support a film after release. In terms of what sort of promotions or what sort of support can be made available, in a time that social media is a daily part of everybody's life, Facebook, Twitter, even a Facebook posting a video message via YouTube. Hi everyone in the UK, my film is today releasing. I would like you all to go and watch it. Makes a huge difference. It's about production houses actually getting the actors, actresses involved and bringing them in and doing things like this. This will help bring up audience levels across overseas markets, and that's what we need. I mean, everyone here says, look, why is Marathi not coming in, or why is Malayalam only doing this level of business? Why is it not doing more? It's because of things like this not being done to push markets. And that's, there has to be some sort of attention drawn into that.
We just finished introduction of all the speakers. We'll have quick 5 to 7 questions. I would want Rajan Singh Babu sir also to ask a question. And then I'll have our responsible person conclude it. And what is the best solution? We need to have a solution. We have so many associations here. So probably we may not be successful, but let us have a suggestion from him how to do it. And before I give the mic to audience, since you said about content, I have one person like to ask a question. Gino, if you can stand up. Gino Husu brought the rights of Kama Sutra in Taiwan. Is it like, we say about the content, what kind of content? Like there are territories, some territories want action content. Like, was it your choice, or how did you respond? How was the feedback of releasing Kama Sutra?
That the poster is very international, so that the movie is successful in Taiwan. But the movie is Raho, is a kid movie because Taiwan more than 10 TV channels broadcast all days for the kid movie. So that's box office is so bad. So now, if that movie it's a kid movie, should be for adult, not only for the kid. So should be the story, the script should be the good. So it's just have the chance to release it. Okay, thank you.
Rajan Singh Babu sir, one question, then we'll ask.
Good morning, everybody. I am from Bangalore, Karnataka.
Very famous person, very famous director. Also a responsible person. He heads Karnataka Chalanchitra Academy. Karnataka.
We make more than 200 films. And after West Bengal, we have 7 gold medals from Government of India, that is Swaran. But unfortunately, our films doesn't go. Even in Bangalore also, it is very difficult to release because of cosmopolitan city. And the borders also, we can't release. Even in Chennai, Hyderabad and Kerala, our films doesn't release. So we are also trying to push this last month only with the cooperation of the South Indian Film Chamber, Mr. Suresh. We did a festival to just promote our films. So we would like to associate with you. And Titi was made in Bangalore. You might be knowing that film. The Titi was a very famous film. It has won award in Venice. Every places, wherever it has got, 16 international awards it has won. But unfortunately, it's not seeing the light outside India. So I will be in touch with you, and we will, naturally, our producers are also ignorant. After the release, they keep quiet. They don't further go and exploit and squeeze the market. Whatever it is there, they have to do it. And thank you for coming to India, and we will be in touch with you, and we would like to bring our films there in the markets. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we've got the best buyers here. We took a lot of pain to bring Mahi. She will say about the visa issues and also. You have the best people. Just ask your queries after the session. They will be able to help you. Like rights, I want to discover rights also, the available rights for what are the rights for a movie. But since there's no time, we'll not do that. We'll take the questions.
I'm Mr. Mukesh. I'm introducing myself
Okay.
again. I mean, what he said was perfect. So if they could have to start with a film festival where they can show 5 or 6 movies in Gulf and London. To start with a Kannada or a Bengali or a Marathi film festival. So which will help to bring in the Marathi, Bengali and the other language audiences once in a year to start with. And if that clicks, then automatically they can start distributing films on a regular basis.
Thank you, Mr. Mukesh. There's no specific festival for the specific language film, but the Dubai International Film Festival is coming in December.
Dubai.
In Dubai, yes. And there are other smaller festivals. I think the Gulf Film Festival, I don't know if that...
I've been there.
And then there was Abu Dhabi, but then they changed the name, and it's been a few changes in titles and all that. But the Dubai Film Festival, they accept films, as far as we have categories, short films, and then other language films. So many of them, and it's amazing. You sit and you see all these beautiful films that not necessarily make it to the cinema. But we got to push more. We have to work together to push these types of films. Whether people open up screens specifically for these types of films, other language films, or even art films, it would be fantastic. Like even cinematic groups. I think it was Vox Cinemas has one screen dedicated to art films. So they won't be making money out of it, but it's part of their commercials, with their commercial films, all the other screens that are showing commercial films. You've got that one screen that at least gives audiences a chance to watch other types of films, except for, instead of just the whole action commercial films, So we have to work and push hard. And the festivals in Dubai, at least from what I know, and then you've got Doha Film Institute. You've got some other, in the Gulf, there are a few that you can register and you can send those films there, as part of, they were shortlisted, all the films. You get a chance to at least showcase the films in those festivals. There are festivals who would accept many language films.
There is in fact a Special Broadcasting Corporation. It's a TV channel based in Australia. They only take non-English movies. So we have Hindi doesn't go there. They don't want a release in a special channel. Marathi goes there. Tamil goes there. A lot of languages. So you should know it's called Special Broadcasting Corporation. They have a fixed rate, $16,000 for a movie, but good enough for a regional movie.
No, it's worth it. You got to start somewhere. It's like one exposure. It's exposure at the end of it. Doesn't matter where it is and how small the place is. You got to start somewhere. There's always a camera there. There's always media there. There's always press there that will spread the word out. Doesn't matter. You cannot think, oh no, this place is maybe too small or this place is unrecognized. You never know. If they are accepting other language films, you got to just do the research and find out which countries, which places, which festivals you can at least register your film. It's important. This way you never know, it gets picked up.
Questions? Yeah, there's one back.
My name is Anthony Davis. I'm from Bangalore. My question is, in every different
all of us, or
it's a general question.
Okay.
Anybody can take it up. In every market there must be some key criterias that they look at for that particular audience. So I'm wondering for Indian films, I'm sure we are dealing with multi-language. So I'm just going to say Indian films. For Indian films, what are the areas that your audiences look forward to? And these are the things that help that film become a success in that market. I hope I've asked my question.
Who would like to answer that?
It's too general. See, for example, if it's a commercial film, those who are the people who are over there in UK, USA, or whatever it is, if they want to go and watch the regular routine commercial masala film with the Hindi artist or with the Tamil or Telugu artist, they do it. But if the specialized films like what's been mentioned now, Titi, I would rate it as one of the best films I have seen in India. In fact, I'm just telling you, all our foreign buyers, is one of the best produced film in India in the recent past. It's such a simple and lovely story, absolutely out of the beat. So that kind of film, in fact, we have to create a market for it. So we have, it's not, see, for example, if it's Amitabh Bachchan or anybody, or Shah Rukh Khan or Rajinikanth, you don't need to create a market for it. Just as I asked him, how many screens you did it? 2,000 in US is phenomenal. That's a different issue altogether. So for these kind of films, we have to create a market. We have to nurture a market for it.
Sorry, since Akash is also here, he's also an MLA, a decision maker from Orissa. He's an actor, biggest actor there. So I wanted, before Akash, I wanted you to tell, if a filmmaker in Orissa, he wants his movies to be released outside, his first question, a producer, he doesn't have a distributor. Is it possible for a producer using CubeWire? Secondly, if that is possible, what is the basic steps he should take?
We actually connect the producer with the entire database of the screens. The basic problem independent producer would have identifying screens. Or let's say if I know a theater, how do I send my content over there? You can definitely do a mutual arrangement on how your movie is being screened there, but you'll still have logistical issues and rights issue. Assuming that's where we come into the picture. You pick an X theater where you want to send over your movie. All you have to do is it's a simple web-based login, and you can export your DCP onto it and select the particular region where you want to send your movie to, because you are the content owner, and you have the entire rights instead of depending on a third-party service provider. So you can decide where your movie goes and how long your movie can be valid for. Assuming you're sending for a festival, which is a better example. You pick a Goa festival, you want to send your movie there, then you can actually say, pick the movie, pick a particular screen, and also say my movie is valid for X number of days. So once the festival is done, they can't play the movie. So you have that kind of a control too. So instead of not just sending the content over there, you don't have to do a FedEx, you don't have to send your hard disk over to different parts of the world, you don't have to bother whether the hard disk is safe, whether the DCP is intact, whether it's verified, whether it's actually worth playing, whether the KDM, that's the license that you give, is working. There's too many people involved, so you can avoid the entire pain points in the distribution chain. So all your the criteria would be of getting the booking slot over there. If that's done, so the rest can be done automatically. You don't have to really talk to multiple people and have it done. You don't have to bother who the exporter is, or should I find a better logistics guy over there. And those pain points can be easily avoided through CubeWire.
The two industries I would like to say, Bengali industry is one of the oldest industry. So far, what I am aware is rarely or next to impossible, they have not been released outside. I believe it's same with Oriya movies. You don't have a release outside India.
True. We have a history of 80 years. Our industry is 80 years old.
80?
Yes, 80 years. And we produce in a year 30 to 40 movies in Odisha, and it's very good quality movies. But across the globe, there are many Odias in UK, in US, in UAE, but we can't send the movies there and present there. So we definitely need your help to release there also. Thank you.
As I said, he's a superstar there. Not just, he's an MLA too. I am sure, Akash, you will go and tell back your government
Sure.
that it is possible. I'm sure we should have at least one, if not theatrical, we should have a VOD release at least for Oriya movie. We should make sure that happens.
Thank you.
You have great opportunities with VOD.
Video on
actually.
demand.
Video on demand is now multi-language films are being taken. They're very much open to it. You have your two operators in the UAE, Etisalat and do for eVision, that you can go directly and at least start somewhere. It's like sometimes you make more like revenue from DVD. Well, now it's basically gone, but we're VOD, satellite, non-theatrical than theatrical. It's like you say, oh my God, okay, there's no. Now I don't need to have it on in a cinema. I've managed to have it have great exposure with the other platforms. And these types of films are more successful in the other platforms. I mean, it's more beneficial. And then you can think of other ways.
Actually, if we want to release our film in bigger manner across the world, how many theaters we can get across the world, other than our country?
See, most of the movies are dependent on the budget. Like, there is no superstar outside. Even Shah Rukh Khan, language is also not an issue, because for a German distributor, Hindi, Malayalam, Telugu all same, because they dub it and subtitle. So language is not an issue, actor is not an issue, unless Shah Rukh Khan, okay, they have a margin. But still, most countries, it's nothing like that. But the quality of the movie, isn't it, Javda? The quality of the movie, as Thomas said, sound clarity, it should look good in budget. Songs, is it negative?
Songs are being welcomed because the Indian films have become synonymous with songs. If there is an Indian film, means if they go to watch any of the foreigners, they go with the mindset that we are going to see some songs and dances. So nothing wrong in that. It's not an untouchable. Let's make it like that.
Mahi, like, you have got the feedbacks of the Arab world. Like, what is that they like in Indian movies?
No, the stars definitely. It's very much star oriented in the Gulf. Yeah, and the songs. I tell you, like Yash Raj did very amazing things with collaborations with the Arabic singers like Dilwale. What is that?
Dilwale, yeah.
They collaborated with an Arabic local singer to appeal to the Arabs. I mean, the Arabs love Bollywood. I mean, love Indian cinema. Not just Bollywood. They love Malayalam movies. We've pushed actually for South Indian films to have a wider audience. And you know, the Arabs, you see, they go for. We've actually gotten people, I mean, locals, Emiratis or other from GCC, to go to the cinemas, thinking that like sometimes we promoted it as a Bollywood film, as in like by changing the title or whatever it is. They thought it was Hindi. They thought it was like North Indian, like Bollywood. But they've come out saying, but that was not a Bollywood. Yes, it was Malayalam. Did you like it? We loved it. Wow. You know, they never thought that it's just has to be Bollywood. There are so many other, I mean, Bollywood copies from the South, actually. You know, the stories are so beautiful and original. So it's just getting the people there. And the songs are songs, that's why Tamil movies, like, to be honest, see, beautiful stories from our experience in the Gulf. Stories are from Malayalam movies. The stories, beautiful, mellow stories. You've got Tamil that is a little bit more commercial, we feel. Tamil movies are a bit more commercial, and their songs are so upbeat and so attractive and so catchy that, you know, people are just drawn to those beats in Tamil. And you've got other areas in India are just amazing with their music. So it's just a matter of getting them in that film to have songs, because you can't miss out songs. As you mentioned, I mean, songs is there. You hear Hindi cinema, songs, music, you know. And basically, just like any film, the story, it doesn't have to be so technically advanced. It doesn't have to be a big budget film. It has to have a good story and to touch the heart. You know, if you can make the audience cry or laugh, or you've done your job. It's success. You've gone through, basically, and it's as simple as that. You have to stir the emotions of the audience. Basically, this is it.
I have one question to Kaushik Reddy. Kaushik is there? Kaushik, you have been distributing movies internationally, right? Are you aware of these buyers, or have you? What is the thing? Like, you take the database of market, or you do homework on your own?
So we didn't start looking at this point. The thing is that we are not feasible with the time. Telugu movies, with the censorship, we can't, for the Gulf people, there is a region censorship in Gulf again. So we can't provide a week head. You need
Censor in the Gulf, you mean?
Yeah. People.
Not UAE. You're talking GCC?
The Middle East, the entire Middle East.
I'll give you an example. Every other film that we sent to Kuwait, suddenly it's banned. Kuwait is a major problem. Kuwait just bans everything. There's a little bit of something in the film. Instead of cutting it, they just ban it. It's a big loss. So you have a big loss for the producer, for the distributor, for that territory. You've got amazing responses from Muscat, Oman, Bahrain, Qatar. Fantastic. Wonderful. They're very much open, very much. Kuwait is a little bit of a problem. UAE is very open. There shouldn't be any, especially for films that are from
Malaysia, they need-
Indian from
Malaysia, they need a print 1 week before.
India. Oh, in Malaysia, I
Malaysia
don't know.
and for Singapore also.
Oh, I don't
No, in
know
fact,
Singapore.
no.
I'm not
Same
familiar
time,
with
like
Singapore,
Tamil,
Malaysia.
Telugu.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, explain. We send a rough cut print 1 week earlier.
Yeah.
Then they have show it to the censors, get it make it perfect, and then just the day before the release, we send a Paka print. So this is what we do in Tamil. So we do have the same problem as you are saying. Say to send to Singapore, Malaysia, to UAE, we have, or to UK, we have to send 10 days earlier. So even a rough cut film has to be sent. If you
But
can't
here-
send it, then you can't export it. Let's make it.
Yeah, the content owners are not that comfortable sending because they have a lot of problems thinking that the content may be pirated, something like that. That's the thing. So we have to bring awareness in the content owners, the property owners first. They have started this. Lastly, I think I have released my movie Nirmala Convent with Cube Wires. This thing only. I've done that.
Okay.
But you have launched it recently, no? The wire, this thing.
Let me answer the piracy part of it. Yes, the inhibitions were there with producers, if you say about a couple of years back, of sending content much earlier, because a Gulf or a UK or a Malaysian censorship demands to see that movie in advance. That's fine. There were inhibitions earlier about sending the content much ahead, a week ahead in time. Over the past couple of years, I've seen producers understanding how technology works and how we deliver content and how safe and secure the contents are. See, as long as if you're talking about someone copying a content off the drives and using it somewhere, it's impossible. It's not possible now. So those were there. People who think a DVD can be copied, you can't do that with DCPs. So if the piracy issue is of on-screen shooting, someone is getting into the theater and then shooting off your film.
Yeah,
So as long as for the censor, there were a couple of there were worries within the production companies that even within the censor, these can be shot on the screen and those copies are out. That happened once way back in UK censor. So they had those problems, but I don't think that's there at all in these last 2 years. I don't see those kind of problems happening now. And it's pretty secure. And in the key you are giving is only to that particular screen. It doesn't work anywhere else. So if it's within the censor auditorium, then it's within that room only. So I don't think the piracy is a bigger issue there. Even after the release, if someone is really going into the theater and shooting it off, today we are able to pinpoint the exact theater, time and location of that particular copy made. We have given reports of several cases in India today, and there have been severe and serious actions taken over big multiplex chains. They were sent notices also because people were copying inside the theaters. So to that extent, content today is pretty much in secure hands.
Yeah, he's trying to ask you whether you can also send the rough cut. Can the content owner send the rough cut
the rough cut should not. Yes, you can send a rough cut. Rough cut does not mean a different content as such. Your content should be the same. You cannot modify the content as such after sending it. So, but then once the censor comes back, today Gulf comes back, if you do give it on a Wednesday, they come back saying these are the cuts I want. Yes, you can go ahead and do those cuts, and you don't have to send the entire film again. You just have to send a small package file. So that shouldn't be a problem.
You can do it.
Yeah.
One last question. I would like to ask it to Prakash Bare. Prakash is a producer. I believe he has taken his movies. I've seen him take his movies to Cannes, Berlin. One of the few people who do that. Prakash, how was it? Was it successful taking your own movie? Do you advise this to other producers? Because you're not a distributor, you're a producer, right? So many of them are producers. Is it advisable for them to go to Cannes and sell the movies? Was it an honest answer?
Well,
I think
he's also an actor, basically actor producer.
Thank you. No, actually, I mean, it is not a easy path at all. But definitely, any buyer or any satellite channel, they will be looking at what other they don't have. There is no stardom. Stardom doesn't work there, or the directors may not be well known. So the only thing they can understand is which are the festivals selected this film, what are the awards it has got. Definitely, that is a necessary thing, but that's not a sufficient thing to get a buyer. I just had a comment. I think in the discussion we were basically looking at two different kinds of films. One is, I think, what Gulshan is doing in Dubai. I think mostly it is Mohanlal, Mammootty, certain stars films. Even if a newcomer makes a Malayalam film and it is a hit in Kerala, that doesn't go there because they are actually registering by the certain stars.
Only Mammootty, Mohanlal goes there. Jayasuriya doesn't go there. Salt and pepper. She has an answer.
That is an exception. Okay.
Jacob was.
Absolutely. Okay.
You know, the news came to us, well, to my father, but about this salt and pepper. He goes, "What is this salt and pepper? What kind of film is it? How do you know?" I'm telling you, he said, "Okay, let's get it. Get it. We put it, market, promote it and everything." It did so well. This is the diamond I was talking about in the rough. It was amazing movie. It wasn't Mammootty in it. There wasn't Mohanlal in it. There wasn't, who was in it?
Actually, just to
that amazing actor.
Just to also mention there, times have now changed over the past 2 years. Even Malayalam films going into the Gulf, the smallest movies have started to play. Recently released Kismet had, there's no star value in Kismet at all. It went into the Gulf and it did okay as well.
It did okay
business.
Quite well, yes. And it was the as you mentioned, if they had put out information about it before the film got released, the background on it.
The other thing which we were actually talking about yesterday, I don't know who's watched Kismet here. Kismet, the backdrop of it is around honor killings. It's something that's very relevant overseas at the moment, and it happens a lot within the Muslim community and other communities as well. But in the Gulf, if there was, let's say, if the production house came through and did a lot of PR work concerning to this, I think the film would have done much more better. It would have gone. The figures would have been much more bigger than what it achieved. Again, we're talking about marketing here, and production houses taking the interest to market and expand on what can be done.
It's all about marketing, really. I mean, you have the known stars. They're stars, and people know no matter how good or bad the film is, they will go watch it because of a Shah Rukh Khan, because of a Mammootty, because of Amitabh Bachchan, because of basically the famous stars. So it doesn't matter what the film is, You make a film with no known stars in it, and you got to market it It's the story that will get the people. It's that strength of your story, strength of the way it's been made. With no stars, it will probably do better than the one who had the famous star in it. It's just the way that you have to approach it in different markets, have different countries, different markets, different way of promoting.
Absolutely.
It's a fact.
Absolutely. I just wondered, the Malayalam movies released in Gulf area, UAE, how many non-Malayalis actually go and watch those films? Is there a non-Malayali audience for those films?
Non-Malayali audiences, yes. Just as, actually,
the non-Malayali audience has actually started increasing in very good numbers in the Gulf. And the reason for this is not anything that I'd say a production house from Kerala has done to achieve it. It's what Mr. Gulshan has done. He has actually looked at the artwork that's come through, looked at the title. He's made changes to the title of a film. We discussed this earlier. He's changed the poster work to have an international appeal, and he's actually released it in a way that brings in an international audience, and it's succeeded as well. It's there is a good percentage number of non-Malayali audiences going in to watch Malayalam films, which is it's a victory. It's a great thing.
Great. One last question. Malayali associations or Marathi Mandal, these kind of associations which are there, is there any kind of give and take or any collaboration which is happening when a film is released? Because that seems to be a easiest way to market a film, take it to talking to its audience.
You can answer that and you can conclude the session, sir.
No, unfortunately, no. In fact, that's the best way to approach. In fact, in my opinion, whether it's especially Kannada film, Malayalam film, or Gujarati or Oriya films, Bengali films, where we don't have the market, in my opinion, that particular Chamber of Commerce should concentrate with the embassies over there, attract them only with these kind of films for free screening. Request them, especially Kannada, for example, Kalyan Mandal or Marathi Mandal, go and show the film free of cost through DVD. Tempt them, let them come away from the main screen, tempt them into their own film, because all said and done, as Indians, we are passionate about the films. We have a great market, and some of our films are fantastic in quality. Much better than most of the international films. I'm sorry to say whether it's right or wrong, because I have seen it through my experience. So make them to see the films again and again. If they start, then start with 1 or 2 screenings as Gulshan has experienced it. With that, the market will grow in bigger. I never knew that the Telugu market has grown so big in Dubai. I know it's grown, but not this big. So this is amazing. So let us start with it. In my opinion, we have a big future. For example, now the Tamil films, we have at least 10% of the total market in abroad. For big budgeted films, it goes up to 25% of the total cost of production we recoup from abroad. So it could be possible, be it a Gujarati or Marathi or a Kannada film. Let us approach it. We should approach it. We will be able to win. That's my opinion. Thank you.
With that, we come to the end. Let me say that India sells less than 10% of the content outside, whereas Korea, it's reverse. 90% of the sales is done outside. So we have a lot of scope. We should do that. And we thank you so much for your patience. It took a lot of time.